Then let's kick it off. How are you?
Just fine, as you can see. Actually, I have one question. I have an early trial of the supplement tracker from Germany, and I suspect.
Are you calling
that
me a
this is probably-
German? Are you calling me a
No,
German?
no. Tom.
Hi.
Oh no. Wait, Tom, are you German? Because I thought once, but maybe the conversation was when maybe I asked you where you're, where you're located at the point, and you said some Baltic state.
No. I was born in Lithuania, but I'm German more or less because I'm living in Germany, on the borders in Aachen. So yeah, and mostly German now by the standards.
So was that you trying the supplement tracker?
I think not. No.
Okay.
I'm impressed how many impressions and early trials you're getting, Ivan. Like whenever I launch something, it's crickets, and then slowly things pick up as ASO picks them up, as App Store starts working, as the campaigns start working. But in the beginning, there's always crickets. And you just launch something like with a Mantissa, and you already have a couple dozen users. What's your trick?
I don't know, man. I just should post everywhere I can. I tell my friends like, hey, you should download this application and please rate it in one day after. So yeah, it's kind of something like that. And even if I, don't call this human person as a friend and he does the same for me, I will write to him like, hey, I think this app could be cool for you. Could you please try it? And something like that. And probably when like Apple Store sees some traction, it shows to more people, etc. I also always post something to the Reddit, to the iOS app subreddit, because it's a launch day. It is important to have some starting traffic. So yeah, it's kind of that. I just actively posting and hope for good. And probably also, I have a lot of apps already, so maybe Apple it's kind of like bumping me. I don't know, because I already have some traffic, some subscriptions, etc. So probably I am in more favor than like a guy with one app, for example. I don't know.
That would be interesting if that actually works. If you could, I haven't seen any article on the topic, but if Apple considers all of your apps a network, and if you build up one, like Sober Tracker is your flagship, and because Sober Tracker has however many now, 200 reviews or whatever, that it actually shows that all the other apps are going to be of certain quality, and Apple pushes them with some priority. That would be a strategy I haven't heard of yet, which would be cool.
I think something like that could be happening for sure, because they're interested in my success, actually, because if I sell more things, they will have more commission from me. So it is win-win kind of stuff. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe for supplement tracker I will need more time, but actually, as I am increasing my payouts already, I started to spend more money on the ads already. I'm testing the Reddit ads. I started it like yesterday. And the important thing for me, it's like I started it with one click. Like I have a thought about, probably that could be cool. And I immediately started this experiment. So I kind of, uh, don't wait until something is happening right now. I'm just trying to increase my iOS traffic, because on Android I have much better traffic and much more purchases, etc. So I need to like be more present on iOS, and I'm running ads, etc. So yeah, I'm pretty active right now.
So I know you're also running Apple ads, and I've seen that they've done a change in the past week, actually. So it's a good topic where they've introduced, I've gotten an email, this kind of automatic conversion optimization. So they claim that they now use some AI. So when you run Apple ads, they try to optimize the conversion rate you no longer set, let's say, an average or target average price for conversion, right? But you kind of tell them, what is it? I think a cap or something, and they run their own experiments across your whole campaign and all of the ad groups and all of the keywords to maximize the traffic to your app. Did you notice in this last week some difference, or did you switch even to the new mode yet?
Oh no, I haven't. I have some estimates in my head about how much I can spend on one click on one installation. So yeah, I'm kind of old style guy, but I have seen this stuff yesterday. So yeah, probably I will run some experiment too, because for example, Google Ads for me, I need to modify the super tracker so it can send the attribution to the revenue cat. So I will be able to track this stuff in Google Ads. So it's kind of a complex schema for me, and I don't like the Firebase integration, for example. I would not use Firebase for the super tracker because one of the selling points for me is like privacy, and Firebase is not about privacy for sure. It's just a shithole of the marketing stuff. So yeah, I'm thinking how I can get along with Apple, for example, because Apple attribution in the basic version, it's like very simple integrated to the revenue cat. But I don't know what to do with Google Ads right now. I was running the install volume ads only, and they are not super efficient in my opinion. Yeah, I have some downloads, but nobody buys my stuff. For example, but actually, I have one strange observation about this stuff. When I stopped the Google Ads in Japan and USA, I immediately like the trials gone to the zero in one day. I don't know why. Because my main conversion was from European countries actually, not from USA, not from Japan or Korea or something. So I don't know how it works, but and if it is correlated with each other or not, I don't know. But it seems strange. Like I turned off the money burning strategy and immediately zero trials. So yeah, I'm kind of, hey Google, you probably are just trying to get more money from me. Something like that.
I mean, I'm sure they also use some AI optimization in the background, and they're probably It's going to be the same as with Xalgo, that things behave every week differently because something changed that you are not informed of. I mean, to be honest, I have a small budget for Apple Ads as well, and I see like huge differences. Like there are some months which bring so many people and great conversions, and some months on same setting that brings nothing and nobody. Now, it might be a seasonal thing, maybe, but it also could be the simply or somebody overbids you suddenly. I don't know. But there's too many things changing. I think you cannot rely on this being constant. But between all of the ads you run, you said Reddit, Google Ads, now Apple Ads as well. I don't know if you do something else like Facebook. Which of these channels kind of works best for you? I think the Apple Ads still, right, is probably the biggest winner for you.
It seems like a Google Ads actually for me, because Apple Ads is just like I have started this thing like yesterday with some kind of optimizations. Before I was running for every keywords, etc. And yesterday I finally like, oh no, I need to set up keywords. I need to do some ASO stuff more. I have updated Super Tracker before running some ads. So right now, this campaign is much more prepared, and I need to estimate how it will work. But before, when I was running like, hey, some campaign just show to everybody my app and blah blah, the Apple wasn't working well for me, and Google works better. But as I already said, I don't see any, or maybe I just don't send attribution. That's why I don't see any conversions, etc. Probably this is the reason, actually, for the Google. So yeah, I cannot like estimate what is better. And for Apple, I will have more data, and I will share it for sure on the next week. So yeah, probably Apple will be better because I finally set up this thing correctly, and they have attribution, tags, etc. So probably it will work better, and I will have more analytics, so I can share more details, not like, hey, run some stuff and let's hope for the better. Actually, this is my main strategy uh, when I do something new for me. But right now I have something already happening in my life, so probably I need to be more intellectual. I don't like it, but I need to do this. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. I am pretty much optimistic right now because I have like traffic, I have conversion, I have trials. It gives me some confidence in like what I'm doing right now. Actually, at the day when I have received 0 trials, I started trial by myself. Just, to continue the streak because it is kind of demotivating for me. I don't like the 0 right now. So yeah, I have like started trial for my water tracker. I don't know. And I don't have 0 trials. So yeah, I am kind of motivated. I have a lot of apps, so I can I can start trials in almost I don't know 20 apps I have. Yeah, I have around 20 apps already. So
That is
probably yeah.
insane. I'm just waiting until Apple introduces some kind of a fee for maintaining your app on the App Store because there's going to be so many of them, so that they a little bit.
I will need to to remove the weakest one. So so sorry. Micro reps. I don't know. Or other stuff. I haven't even promoted it because it was like a short experiment for my friend. He asked me to create the app so he can stand up from his desk and do some minimal exercises, and I have created it in 1 day. But it's very, very basic. It's even more basic than Supplements Tracker version 1. So I'm not kind of promoting it. And for the Supplements Tracker, I have a vision, and for this stuff, I don't. So I'm kind of ignoring it completely. So, what about you guys? How are you? Where are our friends actually? We need to invite them here.
I think it would be good next time. I'm also checking your stream on X, which looks nice. I think we can like have an overlay with the Discord link on, or just like an overlay saying, "Hey, community has Discord link. Come join us." I think it would make sense because right now I don't think it's clear.
Why I have 0 views, guys? This is
that's not right because I'm watching, so it's not 0 views on another device.
Okay.
Are you streaming this on X too, or is this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
I didn't
On
see the
YouTube
link for the
and
stream,
X.
so
Yeah, when we are just trying to attract some guys from the X because we need more guys in the Discord. But Michael, for example, he is not here.
It's a little tricky because I mean the spaces are just so limited, right? And last time some people wanted to speak but couldn't speak, even though they asked for speakership multiple times. I could not record because somehow it was completely laggy compared to the Discord. So Discord is very stable for us talking, but then you have the problem of how do you also let people know that you're around and they can pop in and talk with you. Probably like recording and talking here, but then somehow streaming to X, where hopefully X kind of acts as an announcement and maybe a magnet would be good.
Where's the stream going? Because I can't find it anywhere.
It is actually on my main profile. Man.
I see it live on X.
It is like posted, yeah, live on X.
No, it just popped up. So yeah, when I click on Ivan's, then it shows.
So maybe X suppresses it somehow or like hides it. Mm-hmm.
As I have only 6 views, probably yes.
You always complain it was just 0 2 minutes ago. Now you have 6. Be happy for once.
No, I am greedy, man. I need more. I need 1K on subscribers and on like revenue, and then 2K and 3K.
But I think we should say, since it's not visible on the stream itself. I mean, we have a Discord server running. The link is the top post, pinned post by Ivan in the community. So if anybody is watching right now and wants to pop in and just join our conversation, that's how you do it.
Yeah, the
Let me
overlay
post
should
it to build in
show it.
public.
Show the link.
Okay, I just need to set up some overlay, guys. But I am not prepared. I need more time.
No worries, step by step,
Let me do this next time.
like with
Okay.
everything else.
Next time it will be here.
If you chase perfection, then you will never ship, release, publish, record, do anything. So let's live
I
the.
think, man, it is time for me actually to starting to achieve perfectness because I feel like I'm shit posting the application on mobile market. I need to improve the quality over quantity too.
But meanwhile, Tom, what are you up to this week?
Maxing out my Claude Code, basically. I managed to do this yesterday. Yeah, so, but by the way, for some reason, everything is muted now, so I cannot hear you.
And I just mute my microphone when you speak so that you have a.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, so I managed to max it out because I coded a lot of agents, and they are doing my science research to create my own LLM, basically. So I want to understand how the new LLMs work, Gwen 3, for example, and I let them on with like micro experiments to change the algorithm and see if it performs better than the original. And now I have like 20 leads going for the changes of the algorithm, and I want to understand them why they work. So I let them explore it. But today in the morning, everybody quit and said like, yeah, usage limit reached. I have to kind of wait till 11 o'clock again so I can test it out. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of small experiments like this, for example. I coded a dojo, like a kata exercise tool, which I open sourced, which I'm also implementing some courses on it. So you have like a learning platform with AI. But I'm doing this for myself more or less. So that's why I don't publish anything like year premium subscriptions and stuff like that. Yeah, I know. And I'm coding my own terminal. There are a lot of things I'm doing at the same time.
Your own
Kind
OS
of-
coming when? Soon?
Which one? What? Which one?
Your own operating system then is the next step?
Oh, this one I will not attempt. No. The terminal sessions is more for my management of the agents because it's very tedious to manage them across multiple terminals. The Codex solves it more or less with the projects, so I envy that, but this does not exist in Cloud. There is another tool that exists in Cloud, which is amazing, which I'm kind of copying their methodology with this CMAX. It's also like a terminal, but it can control itself. So the agents can even control the terminal, and they can spawn even a browser inside the terminal. So which is like, okay, that's really good. So I'm currently exploring how they did this and copying some of their inventions over. But yeah, a lot of small experiments, a lot of small apps, and a lot of small in-betweens, and my research team working on stuff.
How do you go about, you said like your own little LLM modification. So you kind of grab a pre-trained model from Hugging Face or somewhere, and then you do some changes there, or you also like you try to adapt the algorithm for the training phase, or like what's the details of that?
For training, I'm the least interested in, so I don't pick some model and train it with my custom data. I know this would work, but the methodology is always like a huge model to be trained, and then it has like billion parameters which you need to store somewhere, and then have huge amounts of hardware to maintain. I don't want that. I want everybody user to be able to contribute to a model. So I looked into a mixture of experts. It's called to make them smaller. So to basically combine them into a real model. So every user could, in theory, train a specific domain or a specific small niche, and you just ship it, and then somebody else can pick your plug and play submodel and plug it into their model. So it's kind of a library of models or dependency of models. This is the vision, but it turns out this is more difficult because of the weights and how they're organized. But it's not impossible because the newest models, they exactly do that. They go for a mixture of experts, so they don't have to target all the paths of the knowledge of the attention that they are grabbing, but rather only a subset of it. But they're doing this after training, and I want to do this before training, kind of like modularize the LLM itself, which is hard. So that's why my research team is on it. Huge problem.
Does that flow somehow then into the EpiCat, or is EpiCat its own thing? Because it sounds somewhat tangentially related, right?
Yeah. So the bot management itself, the agents management, is currently half and half. So I'm trying a lot of different platforms, mostly Mastra in this case, and some of them is just Skills and Claude Code itself. So the research agents are like a Ralph loop inside Claude Code. But this is useful, and I'm also targeting this for to be shared, right? And to create like these sub agents as a CLI tool itself. So they are little researchers. The tool will be called Dexter's Laboratory because each character has its own purpose, and I have all the characters already. But the model itself does not go into EpiCat. It's more of the management of the agents will go into EpiCat. So the agents are the core benefit of that. And I'm trying to kind of pause EpiCat, but not abandon it. And this is one of those experiments which will not abandon it, but kind of add on top of it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I like that every week you bring a different little experiment to the table. I don't think I've seen 2 consecutive weeks.
Way too many now. So the experiments I'm doing is way too many, and they are not like congruent and no results yet. So even though each experiment would have a result, it's like, okay, this didn't work out, and this didn't work out, and I'm pivoting again, which would not be very interesting for people to see on X, unless I have like, okay, these were 20 experiments I ran, and now this is the result of all the 20 experiments. Like 90% of them failed, but at least I got it done at some point.
I wonder if this... So there's before AI, right? Before the last, let's say, year, the thesis of the building and hacking in public was what kind of Mark and Peter Levels pushed, saying, hey, make a lot of small bets. Anyway, success rate is somewhere around 4%. It's the same as in the venture capital investing. This is going to be the same for you as a builder. 19 out of your 20 projects will fail, so keep making projects. I wonder if that changes at a time where everybody can spin up a new project every single day. So with the AI assisting you, just flood the market with 50 projects this year. I wonder if at some point this whole idea of many small bets changes into something else, like make one and, I don't know, just spend your life energy on marketing it or whatever. I wonder if that will continue being the way to see traction or whatever, to achieve some feedback loop for your projects.
Yeah, that's interesting. I also thought that it's already turning back to this one original application that can compete with the big people, and it's actually true, more true than ever, because you are your biggest team. You can spawn any agents that you want. You have like 10 people working for you if you pay a lot of money to let them work for you. But the cost is nearly negligible in comparison to a huge team. So actually, yeah, if you just throw your money onto the wall and and hope for the best and make your own agents work for you for one huge application, you might win then in this case.
I think the main reason, actually, I have opinion about the many bets, So for me, it is like you are doing many bets just to find something you are internally respect and see some traction, So the search is an active process. Before I was creating a lot of applications, I was thinking like, oh no, this idea sucks. Oh no, it's not perfect. Oh no, blah, blah, blah. And I decided 1 year ago that I will not think about this stuff. And for example, the Sober Tracker becomes something that I promote actively, and I continue to promote it because I respect it. And some apps, for sure, are not something I am proud of or something like that. So, in my opinion, the huge amount of bets is for yourself. You are doing this for yourself just to find something that touch your soul in some kind of way. And after that, if even and the best thing is when you see some attention from other guys, and when you see and feel some kind of, hey, I respect this stuff, you probably can make one big bet on this idea. So the huge amount of ideas is still a decent strategy because you need to find something that like brings you joy, that you respect, etc., and have some, market validation or something like that. But for me, it's I never think about anything in my life in terms of validation and blah blah blah. I just do something that I respect or not respect, just finding it cool or something like that. And if it's like cool for other people, probably I should work on this more, and it becomes bigger project. So yeah, in my opinion, it's kind of mix of the both worlds. You need to iterate fast. You need to create a lot of small experiments, and you need to find something that you can make bigger and provide better value, something like that.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what we will see now on X in the next 2 years and how that changes. I think you're right. I mean, I can actually think of a few apps which were not so great on launch, but then the creator kept pushing for a year, and it became something. So yeah, actually,
It's very hard for sure to push for 1 year something that is not getting any money. Most people will drop this shit for sure. Because you don't see any success and you kind of okay, I will probably just go and do some, I don't know, office work or some other idea or something like that. But if you are crazy enough and you can push something for 1 year, even for 2 or 3 months without any results, it's very, very hard.
but
So
I think
yeah,
we're
if you are
spoiled a
doing
little
something like
bit.
that,
I think as a builders, we're spoiled a little bit because everything is so fast nowadays. Everybody's expecting success so quickly. So I know that you come also partially from game dev, and I just read whatever last week a short article with the creator of the Blueprints, which was a game that achieved a lot of success last year. It was probably one of the best, unless it's already 2 years ago. I think it's last year. One of the best releases, I would say, of that year. Very commercially successful. The man was building it for 8 years. One game, 8 years, right? I mean, that's completely different dedication. And I assume there's no early access version for the first couple of years at least until something gets out. Like, that is crazy. And at the end of that, he has made a name for himself, and the game has become a classic that will be it's basically its own new genre now. But 8 years. And we here complain after, I don't know, 3 months of no traction.
yes, but exactly. And I think those stories are mostly from the game dev because right now, or not right now, just game dev is like a crazy bunch of crazy people doing some cool stuff. So yeah, I think the main stories like that from like 5 years doing something and success comes mostly from the indie game dev because nobody probably will work on the summer tracker for 5 years without anything. And I don't know what to do in the summer tracker for 5 years. But yes, or this kind of Excel table parser with some cool stuff. I work on this stuff 5 years. No, sounds like a shit. But for the game dev, it sounds like a natural story because game dev is actually I respect it internally, and I still think that game dev is the most complex thing that software engineer can do. Just because you need to create the engaging game loop, it's very hard. You need to provide some art, it's very hard, and you need to do some sound design. I don't know, art direction. It is very, very complicated stuff. It's not like, hey, Claude, please create the super cool game. No, no, no. But for the apps, it is actually working. Like, hey, Claude, could you please create some cool sober tracker? And actually, he creates some cool sober tracker. So yeah. But for games, no, 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 no. Please provide art. Please provide music. It's all also have like a very, very I don't know how to say it. So many rivals around there. So you need to be better. There's
That
many, many guys that's very, very motivated. So it's very, very hard. It's even harder than to create some, I don't know, app or something like that. That's why actually internally I would like to create some game in some near future when I probably will have, I have a decent income already from the sober tracker. I need to raise this stuff to like 3K, for example. And after that, I can experiment with the game, for example, because it is something I was always dreaming of. And I also understand that it's very, very hard. So it's probably not something I need to switch right now because I enjoy life. And the game dev journey will probably just drain the life out of me because it's very hard and you need to pay more attention than, hey, Claude, probably we need to add some more supplements here. Oh, and we need to create some article here. No, no, no. For me, games is art, so I will treat it like it's art, not some kind of engineer software solving some problems. So yeah, 8 years, it's very cool. And Dwarf Fortress, for example, I think they are
oh yeah,
creating it for
a lifetime.
20. Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah,
But I think
those
probably with
stories
the
are from Peter.
with the game dev, you probably have the same issue as you have with the built-in public, where but okay, 20 years ago, you could have still distributed by just getting on Steam or just telling people you have a game. Nowadays, there's so much slop everywhere. Like, if you have a game, nobody cares. You need to find a way to get it to some streamers, to some influencers. You need it to be seen. You need to engage the community that kind of participates on giving you feedback, and they get the dopamine response for seeing those ideas from them theirs implemented. So I think it's also very difficult. Just making a game nowadays is like you have no visibility, you have no chance, you have nowhere to be visible. I think it's the same problem you have to crack as with the apps of how do you even let people know and how do you engage them to care about trying your game, your app.
Yeah, but for apps, you can provide some useful value and probably it is much easier to market. Like you can always highlight some features that rivals don't have. You can always like propose like I have more value, I am a simpler version or something like that. And for game, it's not working because game it's fun or not fun. That's it. You you don't have any like it's useful, it is better than no nobody care. Everybody just played for the AAA stuff or something like that. Or you probably need to create some indie very cool games that is very very strange or something like that. So you need to be creative, and it is very hard to be creative. It can be trained by like creating games, but it's very very hard. It's much harder, in my opinion, than creating some apps. But maybe it's just because I created a lot of apps during my life. So that's why I'm like underestimated the efforts for the people who didn't do this stuff. Like, oh no, I'm creating the mobile app, hype, photos, etc. But for me, it's like, okay, I, uh, yeah, yeah. But it's just because I have experience in this field. For example, when I hear Tom experiment with his LLM and stuff, I am thinking like, I am the dumbest person in this room because I'm a mobile developer. But I have a vast experience with mobile, so yeah, probably I just underestimate this stuff. And for game, I can be like, uh, I can create some drama here. I think when you are creating game, you need to be prepared to die for your idea the games are not for the guys who want them like, oh, in my spare time I will just create some. It's okay when you are treating this like a hobby, but if you are wanting to make a living from that, you probably need go forward on 100% or maybe even better, because it's much harder to market the game for sure, and you need to pay a lot of attention, and you need to believe that your stuff is very good. Without that, just create a super tracker.
Do you know the story of the Flappy Bird guy who created the
Yes.
Flappy Bird
Yes.
game?
No, I don't.
So he had a lot of games beforehand, and he always created games that made fun for him. And they were super small, so every AI could have actually now done it. But one of those games, Flappy Bird, became popular, and he did not market anything. It was just annoyingly fun to play. And this addiction got out of hand with people, and they shared it around everywhere. And they blamed for it, and they hated the game, and they called him like, "Hey, why do you make this terrible game?" So he eventually quit, and he removed the game from the app stores. But this is a cool lesson, because he didn't. He did this for like 5 years or 10 years, I don't know, a very long time, just random games, like every month a new game, and then again a game. And they were not big; they were just like, I don't know, it was his zen, just to create a game that is fun for him, and then share it, and then next game. But could you imagine doing this for 20 years without any luck or success? And even if it's a big title and you all in on this big title and nobody cares, like, yeah, sure, your game is, and this would be horror.
That's why indie game is hard business for sure, and I think it's not for everyone for sure. And I also think it should be like your last option, or it's just something you love sincerely with all of your heart and soul. It's not something like you for example, right now when there's a lot of guys creating a lot of games, even more guys right now, because Claude actually helps with that. You need to create some cool soul connection between you and your game, etc. You probably need to create some community. You need to make people care about the game, and it is very, very hard stuff. And for example, I have another example, Royal with Angry Birds. They have created like 49 titles before Angry Birds. Imagine creating 49 failed experiments, burning the money, and after this stuff, you create Angry Birds. Yeah, sometimes it happens. But there is a lot of guys who probably created 100 small experiments and achieved nothing. We just don't know about them.
But doesn't it apply in many areas of life like this? Like if you attach yourself, I want particular outcome from this one thing, like this is the job I need to have, this promotion I need to have, or I don't know, I'm dating around, oh, this girl, like I will do whatever it takes to like get close with this girl and date her, or oh, and this project that I'm building right now, this is the one that has to work, and I will pour all my energy and there's no failure allowed. Very often you're setting out yourself up for failure because you have so much expectation, so much pressure. Yeah. And then the moment you let go, you give up on whatever in all of these areas, on getting that promotion, on that particular girl, on whatever. And you just enjoy the process. You just let go. Like suddenly you get, just from exposure to different projects, to different situations, you get to much better position, and you win in some other project that you didn't expect, or with some other job that you didn't look for, and which in the end satisfies you and which is cool. But whenever you push it, whenever you try to push through something in life, like you're kind of generating counterpush, you're preparing failure to come your way, I feel like, no?
I think you need a balance between desire and like accepting what is happening in your life. So, for example, if you are just accepting your fate, you probably will not start any indie dev at all, just because it is hard at all. Or you probably will create some stuff that nobody will use, and you just, okay, let's end these experiments. So you need to be some egomaniac for sure. I mean, you need to want this stuff to be successful, to do some like actions towards this stuff. But for sure, I agree with you that if you pour too much, you probably can see the burnout, very big burnout from this stuff. And you need to balance it. And it's also kind of random and luck for sure, just because, for example, one guy get lucky and he got Flappy Birds for some reason. He didn't understand even by himself why this time it worked, but it worked because it's a very cool game. Yeah, actually. And he needed many time, many more time than like regular guy creating some stuff for 1 year. So if he created games for 5 years and didn't burn out, this is kind of slow way of working towards your heart-centric goal, something like that. But if you don't have this like passion inside of you, I don't think that you probably will have big success in the field. You need to be kind of crazy still to achieve big stuff, because without this you probably will stop at some point and say, hey, I need to put so much effort, I am already tired and blah blah blah, and let's rest. That's fine actually. No, not everybody need to run some business or something like that.
Let me rephrase then, and then I see Michael join, which is going to be great to listen to him. But I actually heard something from Thibault, being a great builder, a very successful businessman. I think it was him. It's been now a few months, and he said like the best builders that he already foresees having success, or those that he watched getting success, are those that don't get too, let's say, emotionally attached. Like they can go through overnight success and be like, okay, I'm just doing my thing tomorrow, just like I did yesterday. And they can also go through horrible failure and bad feedback without crumbling down and saying, now people hate me, this was horrible, what do I do with my life? They just do their thing for long enough time with discipline without having these huge emotional spikes. So maybe you're completely right. So maybe I would rephrase my view on that as, yeah, you have to put in a lot of effort, but like don't hang your life's hopes, and don't, just do your thing, know what you want to do, and kind of pursue it, right?
Yeah. Be professional in this stuff for sure. When you attach your soul to something, you probably will be disappointed, and you will probably receive bad feedback, for example. The same goes with the girls, actually. Of course, you need to put some effort to be likable, I don't know, caring, etc., to be better person, etc. But if you're too much attached to someone, you will build expectation in your head, and you probably will be disappointed. And after that, you'll be angry, and you will be bad person. That's how it ends actually in many relationships. When I was younger, I built like a cloudy castles around, and after that, I just faced, oh no, this person is not perfect, and I was very disappointed. But right now I'm already an adult guy, so yeah. It's much more easy right now to manage than before. And the same goes probably with all the projects. Right now I'm not super attached to anything because, I have already seen a lot of, I don't know, ups and downs in my life and life with my friends. So yeah, I totally agree with you that you need to put effort and some consistent pace and just hope for the good. That's fine.
I'm trying to find out this guy who said this very well, also for dating and stuff. In Diary of the CEO, he was also a participant. He said, you just need to go through the rejection as many times as possible. Rejection can mean anything, like girl rejections or failures and projects and people complaining about your software, where you make this eventually always better, or get a thick skin, basically, and then be okay with that, with the rejection, and use this as an unfair advantage to make the next big product. You learn anyway. So, and the good example with this Flappy Bird guy was that he did not handle the negative rejection well. So I think that was his only mistake. He got ignored with all the apps, and he never got any success from it. And he couldn't just handle the negative rejections then. And this is actually what he told. He didn't expect this to be so negative. So yeah, it's maybe a good example of that. I don't remember how he was called, but he spoke about it like really well. I will find out who it is.
Cool. Michael, hello.
Hello.
How are you? How's your
How are we
change?
doing, guys? Yeah, do you know it's going well. I don't obviously you may have seen, but I've set myself a challenge to a horrible challenge actually, might I add, but to to ship an update every day for March. Maybe I should have chose February instead, considering it's the the least amount of days in the month. But actually, I would say that the sort of impressions and stuff that I've been getting over the since the start of this month, actually, in terms of on my tweets, has grown massively, and a lot of sort of people are sort of replying back to the tweet saying that they're good sort of updates. I've also been posting onto Reddit as well, which is the first thing I've actually done. First time I've tried that, sorry, with this journey. So I've been posting on X, been posting onto Reddit and cross-posting into different sort of threads as well. And I've been getting quite a lot of traction in Reddit as well, actually. And I think most of the sort of comments that I'm getting, I think, are sort of spam comments and AI comments and stuff. But I've had a couple of DMs from people that are actually building something not similar to what I'm doing, but along the same lines of sort of connecting into GitHub and taking the repos from there. So it's actually been nice to discuss that with them and sort of share my knowledge on what I've been doing to help their systems out as well. So still no sales yet. But at the end of the day, the sales will sort of follow, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm just sort of using this month as a learning curve, really. And yeah, day 5. So yeah, today's update I think is going to be the email changes that I've made yesterday. So yeah, it's quite hectic because I've obviously also got a 9 to 5 as well. But yeah, I'm doing it. I can imagine by probably the 31st of March there'll be a massive burnout, by the way, and I'll probably go missing for like a month potentially to just reset. But funny actually, Tom, you just mentioned Flappy Bird. I actually completely forgot about Flappy Bird, by the way, until you just mentioned that. And I still remember the day where that got taken off the App Store. And I remember when people were selling their phones on like eBay for like thousands and thousands of pounds. Does anyone else remember that whole that whole thingy what happened? And that was crazy. That I hated that game as well, by the way, because I was so bad at it. Anyway, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
Your
Go ahead.
your British English is more British in Discord, by the way.
Maybe what it is, maybe I've become more comfortable with you guys and I've sort of like I've stopped trying to be posh. This is the real me coming out.
Or maybe X spaces have, some American filter
Maybe.
that makes.
I mean, do you find it super, super strange that you could talk to somebody like you could talk to 5 people from England and all have different sort of accents? Is that weird to you guys? I mean, I don't really understand. Maybe you sort of feel like in your own country as well, like different parts of the country have different twangs, but obviously to an English speaker hearing Russian or whichever, it just sounds the same. So yeah, maybe I might be hard to sort of understand. Maybe I should bring subtitles in next time.
No. Always fine.
Anyway.
And yeah, we have something like that in Russia too, but it's maybe it's just because I'm native speaker, but for me it's actually just like the same. I can understand the difference between British English, American English, and inside of the Britain, England. I also can, I have some like Liverpool accent. I understand what does it mean, but yeah, in Russia, it just we have the same Russian everywhere. I don't know, but for the foreign guy, probably they will see a clear difference between Siberian Russian and
Yeah.
some Central Russian, probably. I don't know.
I wanted to ask you, Michael, so you mentioned Reddit, and you mentioned that you have some also limited success. I mean, anything for me that is not just you being banned off of subreddits is already success, because Reddit can be very harsh in that. So how do you approach it? Is it just right now you're just kind of helping other people, or I guess you talk about your product or about your building journey? Where do you get some traction, and do you get any pushback, or like what did you choose that seems to work for you?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, first of all, I actually started spamming Reddit threads. Well, not so much spamming it, but when I started back in January with this work account, I was sort of uploading pictures of stuff that I'm doing, basically just doing the same as what I was doing and showing on X. And I had the same issue where everything I was adding in was just being banned. Like I wasn't able to cross post into different Reddit threads. I wasn't able to post at all. And I sort of just left it because I was Googling like the best ways of doing it. And it all comes down to sort of getting as much karma as you can, really, and showing that you're not a bot. And I thought, do I really want to sort of spend time, going in and replying to people and helping people out, because obviously that's just a time restraining thing. So I sort of left it for a while, and I sort of noticed myself in the evening just sort of scrolling through Reddit, and somebody would put a post on about something and I would reply under it to say, this is great, maybe do this. So I sort of self-consciously did start helping people out. And I just ended up finding that me replying to these, threads and these posts and whatnot, ultimately got me more karma. And then I tried to start posting on the 1st of March, and I posted into the Building Public community, which is where I usually got banned back in January or blocked from posting, and it went through straight away. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe something's changed. But like I say, I started this account back in January, and it's only until now that I've actually been able to sort of start properly posting in. And there's some other communities that I get banned from posting in, or at least blocked, whether it's because I'm using images or not using the correct flares, I'm unsure. But mainly I've been posting to the Building Public page, and I've been recently getting sort of like notifications to say, like for example, the day one has got up to like 500 views in the Building Public community, and then day two in a different community has got 136 views. So it's getting in front of people, and people are commenting as well, which helps. And as much as obviously you don't really want to get like a bot replying back to your post, if a bot does reply back to your post, it obviously boosts your post up a bit more as well. So as much as you want to sort of like signal out and get rid of the spam, it's actually great for the spam to be in there. But I mean, to answer the question, I find that actually helping people out, maybe replying back to a question, and not just in the communities that we're sort of all in, in any other sort of interest that you've got, maybe if you're interested in film, music, media, books, for example, even just commenting under that, you're just going to build up your profile. But yeah, Reddit was really hard to sort of post in at the start. I mean, I was getting blocked even just writing a generic post, even introducing myself and, things like that. So I feel like definitely with that is maybe the time that it would take for you to actually build up your profile is worth it in the long run. But also at the same time, it's quite annoying. And, I was looking at tools where I could maybe post on X and post on Reddit at the same time. And there's loads of them out there. There's a guy on Twitter called, I think his name's Jack. He's got something called Postbridge. He seems to be doing really well for himself. Now, personally, I actually use something called Buffer. I don't know if you've heard of Buffer before, but I use Buffer for work. And it's free actually to use, to be fair, for 4 different social media channels. So I use that. I'm happy with that. But what I don't want to end up doing is getting into that same habit of my X post being the exact same as my Reddit post. I want them to have some sort of difference in there, because ultimately your X post is going to be seen by a lot more people, not just that community based. You put it in the Building Public, you also share it on your profile. That's going to go to a lot of people, whereas posting onto Reddit in a particular thread or forum or community, whatever they name it, you have to be very, very like industry specific, I think, because there's a lot of other builders that know the tech jargon and they understand the product, a lot more than the generic person would be. So I don't want to get into that habit of sort of making everywhere where I post the exact same. I mean, I even post on LinkedIn as well. So that's even a complete different shift because LinkedIn is like business to business and, you don't want the retail jargon. So yeah, I found it difficult at start, and it's very easy to sort of look at these. I'm just going through my notifications actually now whilst we're on the phone on the call together. And, I can see a month ago, your post was removed. It's depressing to see because all you're trying to do is sort of build your product up. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to sort of stop doing that and give it up. But definitely post on Reddit. And I actually, as well at the start, just to carry on with this, but I did actually do a Reddit ad as well. I think we spoke about ads, and I did a Reddit advert, and that also drove a lot of traffic as well. But I don't think I mean, I'm more used to setting up Facebook ads, so I don't really think I did it very specific for the Reddit side. Facebook, I'm more used to. But maybe that might be something that I'll look at again as well, because I was getting a lot of views, whether it be, proper views or not, but they were actually, sending traffic to my sites. Have you tried Reddit?
Yeah, sure. I have posted a lot of stuff on Reddit, for example, and I'm running the Reddit ads right now.
Okay.
Yesterday I started it. I need some time to evaluate if it is helping or not. Let's see. Actually, I respect Reddit just because it's one of the last fortress against AI's slope in our world.
Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to sort of give up on something like that, especially if you're getting blocked off every post that you put on, and all you're sort of trying to do is just sort of, share the progress that you're doing, or share, products. But I think it's very much like X as well. I mean, if you go into these Reddit threads to sell the product, a lot of people are just going to scroll past it. So I found that before March, even the same for X actually, but when I started to do the build in public sort of ship every day, I do get a lot of like reaction to that. And most of the reactions that I get are people that probably wouldn't even pay for the product. But I don't mind that because I'm actually getting interactions with it, and I'm getting people comment and ask questions, and I can go back with an answer. And yeah, I find that a lot better really, because ultimately all of that sort of traction that you get is going to, ultimately fall into the fact that people will end up sort of maybe purchasing the product, or if not, at least building the following, and maybe coming up with other ideas as well that you might have.
But then, just one question that came from your speech about Reddit. Do you now, like, what you actually get traction on, what you succeed with? Is it just about posting about your own journey? You mentioned the build in public community, subreddit, whatever. Or do you actually now manage to also here and there, like, get some people to go to your changelog product because either you post about it or you have it in the profile description and they bubble up there through your other posts? Is it your personal thing, or is it now also, does the product benefit from your Reddit posts as you do them right now?
So, I mean, all of the Reddit posts that I'm doing at the moment is sort of similar to the X posts. So as much as it is still a, shipping every day in public sort of view, it's very much all focused around changelog, the product itself. So yeah, I mean, it is gaining traction from that. Yeah. So even a post just to say, I've updated this today, or I'm adding this in today, or, somebody requested this yesterday. It's definitely helped. And yesterday, actually, on the topic of yesterday's update, was a change to the widget that you can have on your site. I actually did a video of that, and I did a video where I sort of clicked on it, I scrolled down, I subscribed to the changelog page via the widget, and a couple of people on Reddit actually replied back and said it's great to see a video of the product. Now, I found that really resonating actually, because the other 3 days were all screenshots. So obviously I feel like a video is going to help massively going forward, because a video does speak 1,000 words really. A screenshot is static. It doesn't really show that much. Whereas a video does show sort of, or can at least show how actually easy the product is. Because that's another thing I think we think about is we understand the product. So we'd also expect everybody else to understand it straight away as well. But it's not really the case. It really, really isn't. Something that might seem easy to you is going to be really difficult for somebody else to use. And this is actually a struggle that I was dealing with changelog for quite some time, really, because I obviously created the product. I know log in, add a project, connect the GitHub account, bring everything in, great. But it's very easy to sort of have tunnel vision on that side and everything else is just noise. You're just going to focus on that. So I actually created like an onboarding process when a user registers, and that helps massively because it actually shows them what to do. And it's quite funny, really, because without that, you sort of assume that people are going to understand. And a product like that, you know, the retention, you've got to make it really easy. You've got to make it easy for them to be able to create that, because it's easy for them to just click X, you know, close out the tab, don't use it ever again. So that onboarding process really, really helps. And maybe that might be actually a video that I add onto Twitter, because I feel like maybe people might benefit from it, really.
Look, I mean, changelog is also something that would be probably a vitamin app, no? Something that makes life a little bit nicer, but it's not solving any blocker issue. I mean, if you have a blocker issue and the customer is desperate or user is desperate to solve it, they will click around a bit and figure out if they can use your solution. But if it's just a nice to have that improves their life a little bit, why should they go through the friction of figuring out what does it do and how do I use it and where do I click? And nobody's going to do that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing as well, actually, I noticed that another thing, I mean, I'm lucky enough that my company that I work for, we're actually going to be using changelog, which is going to be great. So at the moment, we've got a release note which is actually embedded into the system itself, and it's a PDF document that has to be updated all the time. It's text, it's manual, it's really, really time-consuming work. So we are going to be introducing this, but we actually name that release notes. Okay, and obviously changelog is a release note, but for the end user, I feel like it would be better if it was called a release note, because to the generic person that's going to be using the system, you know, what is a changelog? Do they understand what the changelog is? Would they prefer it to be called a release note? So this is also something I'm taking on board as well, and sort of trying to decide whether I should allow my user to ever call it a changelog or call it a release note. You know, I've also introduced the roadmap feature into there as well. So it's almost trying to like make the product the hub for the product itself. So any changes, any future updates, any fixes, any downtime, any things like that, you know, trying to make that product that covers it all. So I'm just trying to work my way around that at the moment. But the onboarding process feature, I mean, I think it's really, really vital, because as you said, you know, you're not going to go in there, click around to try and find something. You know, you need to make it as easy as it is to scroll up to the top and click the X button. And that's sometimes the fight that we have to sort of do. Maybe get knocked out at the end of it, but I'm sure we'll get back up straight away and sort of try and help with it.
You've hit on something quite important, I think, with the whole changelog versus release notes naming. So I think I for sure have a lot of experience in this, and Ivan probably as well, where when you distribute on App Store, at least the Apple one, I'm not sure if Google as well, Play Store, allows you to set up custom product pages, and you can kind of rename the title of your application. And you say once, oh, it's Health 3 Blood Work Tracker, and once it's Health 3 your Health Tracker Center, and once it's Health 3 Longevity Optimization Tool, or whatever. And just this change of title like makes a huge difference in what kind of people even like investigate if your app might be something interesting to them, and it changes a lot of conversions. It makes surprisingly amount of difference just the first sentence, just the first title of your app, and whether people invest and think, oh yeah, okay, let me have a look what is in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's honestly the psychology of, you know, stepping into the consumer's shoes is quite. I mean, there's an absolute massive rabbit hole that you could even go down on that, to be honest with you. Obviously, everybody is different. We spoke about it before. I think in the first call we discussed about how, you know, different sort of areas and different continents, people look at things differently, and the wordings, and, you know, even Ivan mentioned about American English versus English, you know, it's all so crazy. But yeah, I mean, the wording, and I think the flexibility as well. I think that if I actually sort of changed it and allowed a user to call it a release note rather than it being a changelog, I know that would work for my company. So if it works for my company, then surely that would work for other people's companies as well. So that's the sort of like, you know, logic I'm going down at the moment.
Actually, I think very cool project, because roadmap feature, I can imagine that you can provide, you know, a very nice set of services with your startup for the companies that probably, you know, not really into tech or getting to the tech, and they probably will use the roadmap feature, for example. and changelog to provide their customers. For example, I was working remotely for the Germany company, and they have a very, very old processes, etc. And we didn't have any kind of roadmap or changelog for releases, and was a special guy who communicates with customers about this stuff. So probably I see them as potential customers of your service. So kind of cool. Probably you will have success in Germany, for example. I think there is a lot of companies in Germany that build like that.
Yeah, maybe that's a focus to start on after March.
Yeah, at some point of the time, you probably will need to do some marketing. Of course, it's very bad. But of course, nobody of indie developers would do any marketing at all, but we need to do something. Unfortunately.
So, boys, we've
I'm
been
always
going at
fighting,
it.
you know.
Sorry, go ahead, Ivan.
Yeah, I'm always fighting with myself like, hey, man, probably you need to market your stuff or run some ads or set up some stuff. No. Probably we need to deploy one more feature or one more application. It's much better. And my engineer mind is like, hey, yeah, man, we should go with this plan. This will make it. But nope.
Yeah, actually, next week I'll be able to share a little bit. I've tried to sign up for this GenViral. So GenViral is a service that lets you kind of create some reels and post them to TikTok. But they also offer what I found cool, like a package of, they claim, properly warmed up real mobile devices targeted on a particular market, hosted accounts. It takes 14 days for them to prepare it for you. It's kind of like an agency offering. And I went for it. I have like 3 days left until those accounts are going to be available. And I kind of wonder, I plan until next week to start doing some TikTok marketing on those pre-warmed accounts and see where that leads. So I'm going to probably share the next week some marketing experiences from that. I'm quite curious because the warming up of the TikTok account is, I think, the biggest barrier for entry, especially if you don't already live in US or somewhere in the North America. Like, you have to fake so many things, have a fresh mobile device, have a VPN that doesn't get flagged by TikTok, have maybe like a SIM or eSIM card from some cheap provider in US. You have to be really believable. And then if you watch people like Adria on X, you still, after putting all the effort into doing mindless scrolling and pretending or trying to warm up your account in your particular niche, 10 days later you get banned anyway. And then this is such a annoying work and so demotivating that if GenViral, if they managed with this package to somehow crack it, if they managed to take it away from you without looking like bots, without getting you banned, that would be amazing. But I was going to say, we've been... I hope as well.
Will be.
But we've been at it for a bit longer than an hour. Should we slowly wrap it up for today?
Yeah, I think so. It is time.
I actually completely forgot that we was in the call, by the way, which is why I joined late. So I do apologize for that. Next time I'll set a reminder on my phone. Because usually on Spaces you can set a reminder, by the way. And next time I'll join on the call as well. I'll join on the work computer and I'll set the webcam up and I'll join you guys.
Same.
Yeah, and I think if we figured out some overlay for the X stream, I see there's some views now, not so many, but there's 20 views. If we can also make it clear where the people that want to call in can join the Discord with a link, that would also help a lot.
Yeah, sure. I will create some overlay for sure.
All right.
Actually, I'm kind of streamer right now. I'm streaming almost every day, and I finally, getting some subscribers. I hit the 500 subs on YouTube, and it is growing. So yeah.
Nice. I'll have to subscribe. I'll subscribe.
I kind of feel like I wanna try and wanna do more content right now because it's the most important feeling that you want to do something. Because you probably know that you should do something, But if you want to do something, it's much better.
Yeah, I mean, this is great, isn't it? This sort of the time that we're in at the moment, where if you want to sort of pick up a new, well, hobby, for example, maybe streaming, things like that, you can actually do it whilst also working on the side. I mean, it's crazy to think that, years ago that would just not be the case. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, hopefully one day we'll all make it and we can all fly out to where Ivan is and share that lovely pool that he keeps sharing on X.
After our call, I will go to the rooftop.
And see, maybe tag me in the picture.
Okay. This is my kind of routine, unwind routine.
Yeah, it's good. Anyway, nice to catch you guys, and we're going to have a coffee now, and I'm going to start some work. So yeah, I'll speak to you guys again soon.
All right. Take care. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Bye. Bye.